this video, we're going to talk about some of the few lessons that you can learn from Reddit when it comes to ranking high on Google. See, in the past few years, there's been a steady increase on the monthly searches for the word Reddit, which means that a lot of people are preferring looking for solutions on Reddit rather than going on other websites. But this doesn't mean that other websites do not get traffic. Of course they do get traffic, but what made this switch from traditional websites to Reddit? Because if you take a look at this current time, the word Reddit has 247 monthly searches. Back in 2022, the monthly searches for Reddit on Google was to be 3 million. That's almost a 1000% increase in the monthly searches from 23 million to 247 million in 2026, which means that Reddit is doing something that people like. That's the reason why after every search question, for instance, if you go to Reddit right now and search for something and add Reddit to the search question that you typed on Google, there's a high chance you'll find a solution on the platform. So, because Reddit has been firm in the past 5 years in this ever-changing landscape of SEO, where websites sometimes they rank higher, sometimes they're penalized by Google, sometimes the algorithm changes. It means that Reddit has some strategies that they're using which makes it preferred by a lot of people. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the few things that we can borrow from Reddit when it comes to search engine optimization and ranking high on Google. Because if you can break down these things and these strategies that Reddit uses, not necessarily uses because there's no one behind such threads looking to make the threads rank higher. We'll just look at some of the organic things that you can borrow from Reddit and incorporate in websites to make them rank higher. Let that sink in first. So we're going to take a look at the rise of Reddit. See, the funny thing is, before AI entered the market, people did not add Reddit to the end of their search questions because they could find websites that provided insightful information. But after AI came into the market, a lot of websites started publishing filler content. Filler content is the type of content that doesn't add value to users. It's just there for the sake of being there. You can read through something, maybe take 5 minutes or 6 minutes to read through something, and then at the end of the post, there's no point you can derive from the post. So that is the kind of filler content that started appearing on so many websites, and people noticed this before even Google noticed this. So when people noticed that they could not find solutions on websites, they opted for the traditional forums, and they started adding Reddit to the end of their search questions on Google. So for instance, if I'm looking for the best smartphone in 2025, instead of typing the best smartphone in 2025, I'd type the best smartphone in 2025, and then I'd add the word Reddit at the end of the question. And then Reddit comes up on Google, I'd click the Reddit link, look at some of the things that people are saying on the threads, and then I'd find the smartphone that I was looking for. So in 2022, there was that the trend came up. A lot of people were adding Reddit to the end of their search questions. Google caught on to that. They realized a lot of people are doing that. So they started prioritizing Reddit. They designed the algorithm in such a way that if you looked for something, you'd find Reddit on the top 5 few results. So why did they do that? Because they want to offer value to their users. At the end of the day, everyone is looking for a solution to a pain point, a solution to a problem. And if they don't find a solution somewhere, they're going to look for a solution in forums where they can relate with other people and talk about the experiences. So Google started prioritizing Reddit. And at this point, if you go to Google and look for anything and search for anything, there's a high chance you'll find there's a section for forums, a specific section dedicated to forums, Quora, Reddit, and other forums. Why? Because they sort of provided a solution when the AI platforms were on the rise and when a lot of content was slow. After that, Reddit blew from 23 million monthly searches to 247 million monthly searches in 2026. People are still going to Reddit looking for solution. And at this point, they also have they have developed an AI which goes through different threads and then gives you a solution. So that is the rise of Reddit. Reddit was on the rise because there was a gap for information that offers solutions when everything in the internet, not necessarily everything, but a large percent of websites were filled with filler content. Reddit came into the scene and offered solutions. So from that, it started going up, and up until it hit 247 million monthly searches in 2026. From May to June 2026, the number is 247 million monthly searches. So if you're a business owner or you're a brand and you had that amount of traffic in a month, your revenue, of course, will be so high, considering that your conversion is good. And what can we learn from Reddit? There are 4 things that you can learn from Reddit when it comes to search engine optimization. When you rank higher, you get more attention. When you get more attention, you get more leads. When you get more leads, you get more customers. So that is basically the point of ranking higher. So the first thing when it comes to Reddit is relatable and insightful information. Relatable and insightful information. When it comes to SEO, apart from the strategies that are incorporated or are implemented by different websites, the most important thing is providing insightful information which solves a certain problem. When you can solve a problem, you can rank high. When you're providing insightful information, you can rank high. So the most important thing when it comes to search engine optimization is providing insightful information which solves a pain point in a problem that your website visitors and your website users are facing. And how does Reddit do this? First, there's a meme on Reddit about how there's someone who has experienced something that you experienced 10 years ago, or probably 15 years ago. And everything that has been experienced, when you search for it on Reddit, you'll find someone who experienced exactly the same thing that you experienced, and there's a solution to the problem that you're looking for. So, if that's the case, then it means that Reddit has a lot of insightful information. And apart from being insightful, it's relatable. It's very relatable. When you're looking for a solution, when we have a problem, we want to be offered a solution in a relatable manner. We want to know that the solution is coming from something or someone that can relate to us and understand what we are facing, or they can put themselves in our shoes. And that is what Reddit does. You'll search for something, you'll have a problem, search for something, go to Reddit, read a story, maybe laugh a little bit, then understand that the solution is packaged in a humanistic, relatable manner, where the person explains everything to the tiniest bit. You just find yourself nodding, you're like, okay, they're going through something they went, okay, because the solution has been solved, they went through something that I am going through right now, so they understand where I'm coming from. By relating to you, there's some established trust, which makes it easier for you to learn from the solution. And apart from the relation part, the solution is also validated by other people who are in the same predicament and in the same situation. So if you find a solution, it has been validated through upvotes and it has been awarded and through other comments. So there's some sort of social proof when it comes to solving a solution. You find a solution, there's a comment about someone who also solved the problem that you're going through, and then there are other comments below the comments. So we have a solution, 10 comments, which validates the main solution. And apart from the comments, we also have upvotes, which validate the solution. So from that, we have insightful information. And that is one of the reasons why Reddit ranks high on Google. And most people, they're debating, saying that Google has the authority when it comes to ranking, but that is not the case. Google only mirrors what other people are opting for, or what other people prefer. It's a mirror to what other people prefer. So since other people prefer Reddit, Google mirrored it and incorporated it into its algorithm, so that if you're looking for a solution to a certain problem, they'd offer you Reddit links and citations on Reddit. Apart from that, Reddit has also been featured so many AI platforms, which is so paradoxical if you think about it, because when AI platforms were launched into the market, they churned a lot of content. They produced a lot of content. They were generating a lot of content. But then, if you think about it, 3 years later or 4 years later, they don't want to cite information that was produced by the same AI platforms. they want to cite information that's generated by, or that's written by humans, or they're citing information that's from forums like Reddit and Quora. And this is just an example. If you go to ChatGPT at this point and search for something on ChatGPT, then go down to the citation list. Click the citation list and look through the sources. There's a high chance you're going to find Reddit on the sources, on the citation sources. And why is this? Because Reddit at the end of the day provides insightful information. Apart from Google, apart from what AI platforms prefer, people at the end of the day, they prefer Reddit. Because Reddit has human-based solutions which are presented in a relatable manner. Insightful information at the end of the day beats the algorithm. And that is just an example of how AI platforms and Google, they are mirroring what other people are looking for, what humans are looking for. So instead of probably thinking about Google algorithm or how AI platforms rank, maybe take into consideration, what do people want at the end of the day? They want solutions which are presented in a relatable manner, which are insightful enough to solve a certain solution. So that is the first point. The second is tonality. How is the solution presented? And I'm going to ask you this question. Probably there's a point in your life, maybe you're looking through information to the point where you are so bored and you just slept. But if the information is presented in a very interesting manner and in a relatable manner, you're more likely to process the information and find it easy. When you go to Reddit, or when you go through a thread on Reddit, the tonality or how people relate to each other is so easygoing, and it's so lighthearted, to the point where you might be facing something, or you might be having a solution, probably not a solution, a problem with your business, or a problem with your car, or anything that can happen. You go through the Reddit, you find people who have added some personality to the solutions. You may laugh. You may find yourself probably in public laughing hysterically, and that's just Reddit. Apart from that, there are memes over there, there are banters. People vote things that they relate to. They don't vote some of the things that they don't relate to. And there's a sort of social element to it, which also goes down to our most basic instinctive parts, which is, we are human beings, and at the end of the day, we are social creatures. So tonality is something that reminds us of that. When you are offered a solution and then it speaks to you like how a friend would speak to you, you're more likely to be receptive to the solution, because it has a friendly personality, a friendly tonality to it. And that is another thing that makes it easier to digest solutions when they're presented in a humanistic manner, in a friendly manner, with humor, with memes, with banter. Makes it easier to process information, because also the brain produces dopamine. Dopamine is a feel good. It's a feel good hormone that makes it easier to process information. Instead of reading something and just feel like your mind is not it's going to blow if you read another thing or probably hear something else, because it's not presented in a humanistic manner. Tonality is also another thing that makes Reddit one of the best platforms to look for solutions. And we can incorporate such solutions, such tonality in our websites. When you're writing something or when you're offering a solution, add some human touch to it. Maybe include some jokes, maybe tell a story of how you are in the same shoes as the website visitors who are looking for solution to certain problems. Add some memes to your content. Laugh a little bit. At the end of the day, nothing is that serious. Tonality, keeping things light-hearted, making things fun. It's one of the few things that makes even people come together at the end of the day. And also, when you make things fun and light-hearted, you're going to enjoy the process. And if you enjoy the process, it also becomes easier for you. So tonality is another thing that makes Reddit remain firm in Google pages. The third thing, that point is experience. So who are you more likely to listen to? Are you more likely to listen to, if it comes to, let's take an example about climbing a mountain like Mount Everest. Are you more likely to listen to someone who theorizes climbing Mount Everest, or are you more likely to listen to someone who has climbed Mount Everest? Probably the chances are you're more likely to listen to the seasoned expert who has done the same thing that you want to do, and his advice or her advice is backed up by experience. Experience goes a long way in establishing proof and in establishing trust that you can solve a solution. And Reddit is one of the few platforms where you can find experienced professionals who are seasoned with what they're doing. And here's the thing. When the experienced advice is given on a forum, people are more likely to trust the forum. And that happens to Reddit. People trust Reddit because the solution that is offered on Reddit is packaged in an very experienced, by people who are very experienced. For instance, if you're looking for something like a smartphone, you go to Reddit, you find someone who has uploaded a video for smartphones, you find a person who has taken pictures on the smartphones, or you find probably like a manufacturer who explains everything to the smallest detail on how everything goes down. Who are you more likely to trust? The person who has never dealt with the smartphone, or the person who is experienced with the solution and the problems that you're facing? Of course, you're more likely to trust the experienced person, and that is another thing that makes Reddit rank so high on Google. Experience. If, For instance, maybe let's say an example, you are a weightlifter, probably like going to the gym. If you go to Reddit, you're going to find people who have documented their journey from the start to the end, from probably like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Everything has been documented to the tiniest detail, with pictures, with videos, with everything that they did to achieve certain solutions. So you're more likely to trust it, to trust such advice because it's backed up by experience. It's not the rest necessarily like someone who like the advice which is not backed up by experience. The next thing is human relations. Human relations. So we've talked about tonality. We've talked about tonality. We've talked about experience, and we've talked about insightful information. The fourth thing is human relation, or the societal relation, how we relate to each other on the internet. You see, when